It's time for From the Shortgrass, presented by UAMS Health, Orthopedics, and Sports Medicine with Trey, a golf podcast for those who love golf, struggle with golf, and just like to enjoy the outdoors and fellowship with friends, all while chasing a ball around, trying to put it in a 4 1/4 inch diameter hole. From the Shortgrass is presented by UAMS Health, Orthopedics, and Sports Medicine, and brought to you by Stevens Incorporated, an independent financial services firm with the freedom to focus on what matters most. And now, from the Shortgrass, here's your host, Trey.
Welcome to another edition of From the Shortgrass, presented by UAMS Health, Orthopedics, and Sports Medicine. In this episode, it is part 2 with my sit-down interview with S.J. Tuohy. I traveled to Monroe, Louisiana, where S.J. is now the athletic director doing some big things. He has worked his way to this point, and he's done it with hard work, and has worked his way through becoming an athletic director at the Division I level. We're going to pick up the interview during his time at UCF, what that was like in Orlando under Gus Malzahn and Terry Mohajir, the athletic director of the Golden Knights. That's coming up after the break. Stay with us.
Hello, this is Justin Acree. When joint pain or an injury slows you down, turn to UAMS Health, Orthopedics, and Sports Medicine. Arkansas's largest orthopedic team and the state's most fellowship-trained surgeons offer expert care for sports injuries and problems affecting the hip, knee, shoulder, spine, hand, foot, ankle, and more. Care is easy to access at the Orthopedic and Spine Hospital and the new location on Rodney Parham in Little Rock, next to UAMS Health Urology Center. For walk-in care, choose UAMS Ortho Now. Call 501-686-TOSH. When you think ortho, think UAMS.
Strength is measured not by the number of accounts. Strength is placing value on relationships. It's having the vision and the guts to invest in growth. It's the commitment to responsibly manage your money. At Stevens, we believe that our strengths build success, not only for us, but for our clients. Stevens, member NYSE, SIPC.
Welcome back to this edition of From the Shortgrass, presented by UAMS Health, Orthopedics, and Sports Medicine. I am Trey. UAMS Ortho now open at the Orthopedic and Spine Hospital at UAMS Health. If you have an orthopedic injury, sports, work, or anything else, walk in and see the best in orthopedic care. No appointment is needed. Ortho Now, open Monday through Friday, 8 to 8, and Saturday, 8 to noon. Conveniently located at the Orthopedic and Spine Hospital at UAMS Health. All right, get ready. We're going to move fast. It's time for part 2 of my sit-down interview with S.J. Tuohy. We pick up the interview talking about his time at the University of Central Florida. On the tee, S.J. Tuohy.
What was the time at UCF like for you in Orlando? Being close to your mom and dad had to feel good.
It was great, and UCF is a great growing place. We had a great staff in admin and athletics.
The move to the Big 12?
Underappreciatedly hard thing to do. You know, everyone got mad at Gus because UCF had won so much. First year was Dylan Gabriel got banged up, and we had to play a true freshman quarterback, Mikey Keene, who really battled. And so I think we ended up going 6-6 or 7-5 with Mikey. You know, Dylan probably would have won 10, 11 games. He was a freak show. Dylan goes to Oklahoma. Well, the next year we bring in Plumlee for Ole Miss. And if he's healthy, we'd have won the league. I mean, we beat Tulane by 17, and we had to play him again 2 weeks later in the championship game and lose to him with a bad quarterback because JRP got hurt. And people were okay with that. I mean, I wasn't like, oh, you should have won this game. But we, 9-3, competed in the conference championship. That's what UCF had been accustomed to. And that next year going to the Big 12, man, like it wasn't the first 22 guys. We competed. You know, it was like our kickoff team averaged, 185 pounds across the front, and Kansas State's is 230. It was the depth guys. Man, it was hard. UCF had plenty of money, but they didn't have Big 12 money when you go into that league. And teams, the first year in IL, we spent $100,000 our first year at UCF on the roster. I remember being like, crap, we're rich, man. We got so much money. We'll never need nothing else. So we had to grow into it. I think now they've settled down. But people at UCF may disagree, but I think at that moment, getting into the Big 12, Gus probably was the right guy for it because he covered up a lot of things that I think would have been bigger flaws there. Now I get why it didn't work out the following year, but it was a hard transition. But at UCF, it was a great time. We had great people there. I love Orlando. I go back when I can, and it was a cool place to work.
But SJ, the travel Salt Lake City? That's a long way to go from the middle of Florida.
Yeah, no doubt.
For a game.
It was funny. Everyone loved coming to Orlando to play, right?
Yeah.
Our visiting crowds
They
were
love
huge
it.
because it's like that's the vacation. We're going to go watch. We'll go Disney World Thursday, Friday. We'll go see the team play Saturday, fly back. So we had great visiting crowds. Again, something you had to learn, and I think now they've done a great job. They schedule out of conference very well because they'll go. There are a million teams you can play regionally out of conference. Fine, we won't travel as much out of conference, and we'll go play. We need to in conference, but. It took into my second year at UCF, we moved into the NIL space and started the collective and stuff. So I started to having to worry about, but it wasn't just football anymore. And that's where I think you saw the biggest transition piece where they've caught up the fastest is sports outside of football. The first year Johnny Dawkins, from the collective standpoint, I think we gave him $1 million, I think, for the roster. You got teams in that league who were spending 8, 10. Now it's 20, but and he competed. And I'm like, people were getting mad at him, like, oh man, we got Coach Dawkins. I'm like, guys, Coach Dawkins may be coach of the year. They went to the tournament this past year, but they were a bubble team that year. I'm like, we're a bubble team, and like we got knives at this thing. When these guys got like not rocket launchers, not guns. Like legitimate ammo. And Johnny did a great job. And softball's winning there now. Golf. So once they figured it out, the Big 12, they've done well, but it took some figuring out.
You left UCF and you go to Oral Roberts.
Yeah.
When I think of Tulsa and I think of golf, I think of Southern Hills.
Hey man, Bunky Perkins got me out there. That's why I went out to Tulsa. I wanted to be an AD, and these search firms that I would work with to hire coaches, like coordinators and all that kind of stuff. That was a big narrative I always got. You got to get in with these firms, So I made some contacts, and there's a girl at Turnkey named Katie Stout, who I think the world of. I think she's one of the sharpest minds in college sports and just kindest. And I kind of talked to her. I said, "Look, this is what I want to do. I want to be an AD. If there's a job that you think gets me closer to that." The collective was kind of coming back in house, and I didn't love the way it was structured. Terry the Mahajer, the AD there, is great. I just didn't kind of like it, and I would have done it. But just the way it was kind of working, I didn't feel great about it. And I said, look, I'm kind of ready to move. I'm not dying to rush. It can be now or in a year and a half. But if something comes up, and she called me like 3 weeks later and said, there's a job in Tulsa, Oklahoma at Oral Roberts. I said, okay, why? And she's like, because the AD's awesome. You're going to love him. Tulsa's a great place to live. And it's one of those fancy titles, deputy AD, whatever, all the stuff. It's just like, and you can get a job. Because the last guy got to be an AD. You can get a job from there. You'll love working there. I said, okay. And I didn't really believe her. I went to interview for it. And it was a really special place. Oral Roberts is a great place. And in my career, the AD guy, Tim Johnson, has done a great job with, baseball, year before I was at College World Series, basketball, Sweet 16, the golf team went to regional. They're very competitive. And he taught me a lot in that, 14 months. She was right. And I think if I didn't take that job, I wouldn't have got this one. So it was a weird move. I think when I was leaving, my girlfriend at the time was like, so we're going to leave Orlando for Tulsa for less money. I said, yeah, pay cut, Orlando, Tulsa.
Sometimes that happens, though, right?
So you're like, are you running from the police? Like, are you in trouble here in Florida? I'm like, no, I'm telling you, Tulsa's going to be good. And
what was Leanne's responance when you told her?
She's not happy. My dad got it. He gets sports, and my mom does too. But I called her and say, I think I'm going to move to Orlando. She said, well, how much more money are they paying you? I was like, it's actually $50,000 less than I was making at UCF. She's like, I think her first response is like, are you in trouble? I'm like, no, ma'am, it's a good job. And I think her exact verbiage was, well, you can move into your own damn house. Because she's she's an interior. I ain't helping you move in Tulsa. So when I got there, I sent her a picture of the pool table in the middle of the room, and all the jerseys, and said, that's fine. This is how to be then. So she flew out to Tulsa.
She had to decorate.
Yeah, it was a rental place. So she ended up supporting. But I told her I was moving here with my family's sister from Louisiana. I think she was happy. Although she came to like Tulsa. Tulsa's a great town.
SJ, you're at ULM now.
Yep.
And you have your title, athletic director.
Yeah.
When you came down to interview for the job at ULM, what were your thoughts?
I didn't have a ton of preconceived notions, and I sought the advice of a lot of people in college sports. What do you think? And everyone said, well, one, you'd be a very young AD, so it's a cool opportunity. But two, like, you have a lot of career ahead of you, so don't go somewhere it's going to kill your career. Like, that's the number one thing. Like, do they really want to win? Does it matter to them? We got a new president named Dr. Carrick Steele, who started 5 months before me. So she was obviously, interviewing the process, and I walked into her house at 8 a.m. with whatever Friday morning with my binder and my little stuff in hand, and I can't, do too much curse on the podcast, but she said, you can put that crap away. We're going to talk, and we did for, hour and a half, and she leaned forward and she said, I want to win so freaking badly. I just don't quite know how. She said, can you help with that? I said, well, yes, ma'am, I think that I can. I have a plan, and the community here is great, and I went to lunch with some people, and they, it's a place that I didn't think I don't want to go somewhere I couldn't make an impact. I thought at UCF with Gus, I could be a little bit different than Gus and help the staff and help the kids, because Gus is the best, but you need someone a little bit different to do the other stuff. And the collective, I wanted to go somewhere where I could make an impact and being here for a week, man, you can make an impact here because the people, everyone in town that I've talked to. So what can I do to help? And that was the biggest thing. It's like, well, there ain't no resources here. Everyone you talk to is like, how can we help? So I think they just need a person to maybe open some pathways for them, and I hope that I can be that and the staff we brought in. But it's a cool place, man. And it's a place that you want to see do well.
Is that a knock, though, the fact that ULM, they don't have the resources? Or until you get here, then you see that, hey, we actually do have some?
Here's the thing. Everywhere in the country has resources. It's to the level of how you can utilize what you have. And the resources here are different. You know, it may not be some guy giving you $1 million. Like that may not exist in Monroe, but there's tons of, I mean, I got a guy, Dan Robertson, who drops his Robertson Produce, free advertisement, who every week on Monday comes in here and drops the most fruit off for our kids every week. Well, crap, man, that saves me a whole bunch of money. And when recruits and stuff, I got the best produce section in college sports. Come see us. I'm telling you. And stuff like that matters. And there's people here with so much connections like that. And I joke, I mean, Tim McGraw, obviously, we talk Blindside, is an honorary alum of here. He didn't finish. You know, Laney Wilson is an alumni from here. Obviously, Blue Robertson, Duck Knight's alumni from here. And so there's those influential people that if you give them ways to, man, how can we help? How can we, get impactful? And Willie has been great. He started doing a Bible study here in the spring for our kids. He's sponsored a concert for us this past spring. And
he plays golf.
Maybe 2 country clubs here in town. Remember that? And I think here we have to utilize resources differently than you do at LSU or somewhere else. Obviously, what do we have that we could do? And I joke, we were 136 of 136 in FBS revenue last year, $20.5 million. Okay, Missouri State was ahead of us, $28 million. They were 135. If we were 135, just one spot, not top 100, if we were one spot higher, we would have had a $4 million surplus in athletics. We ran a $4 million deficit the past year. And it's like, man, that's not an unachievable jump. Just come here and say we're going to be top 100 in revenue. It's probably going to happen for a long time. But can I beat one team? And our operating and budget and overhead, I feel like, is very, very low, and we're nimble. So it's, okay, well, if you could just increase this a little bit, man, you can do some stuff here. And it matters to this town, man. And people, they love to support winners. And our teams that win, they get a lot of support. So we just got to figure out how to get a lot of teams going the right direction. And all of our coaches, I mean, that's why we've been good this past 6 months. We have unbelievable coaches. And they know that, we're not good enough for women's golf team to be good or softball to be the only good team. Or for us to really, really matter, we have to do it as a department. And then in 3-4 years, fine. One team, whatever. We built enough to where it's sustainable. But I think we've had individual teams have success here, and they know, man, for us to really, really get to the next step, we got to do it together. And then we had a good bunch.
I had a buddy that I played a lot of competitive golf with back in Arkansas, Nick Wilson, who played golf down here on the men's golf team. This year, you guys had a female golfer that went all the way to the national championships.
She played in the LPGA Open. First ULM.
Yes.
She's the coolest chick on the planet, Johanna. She's awesome. We had a coach, Rachel Pollock, who just left to go to Houston, who did a phenomenal job. And that's the thing with ULM. She goes to Houston for double her pay. We'll cheer. That's awesome. We'll cheer for you. I don't want to lose coaches to Troy, to Coast. If someone's coming here, we want someone who wants to be here. I want someone who wants to be here, but I want someone who, if they win, if someone gets the Ole Miss job or something like that from here, that's awesome for us. We've now elevated the program, and if we keep doing that, we'll get, in a better spot. And she went to Houston, we're cheering for, but she brought in great girls, and Johanna's one of them, who just graduated, and team won the Sun Belt, whatever, and she went to that, put her in a tournament at Piedmont Driving Range outside of Atlanta. And I remember Rachel's coming to my office. So have you watched the tournament in Atlanta at all? Johanna's competing, and she was amateur, right, and playing in a pro tournament. And she came in that last day. We put it on the stream, and Johanna wins the tournament. And we're like, oh crap! What is that? Okay, what does that mean? She's qualified for the LPGA.
She's got a card.
So, of course, my first thought here is oh, that's awesome. Do we have to pay for that? We can't afford to send her to go to Riviera in 2 weeks.
No, you don't have to pay for it.
LPGA
she handles that on her own.
Your Razorback, Chad Coleman, the new CMO of the LPGA, he confirmed we didn't have to pay for it. So, man, it was great for her. And the team went down to Tallahassee Regional Women's Golf, and they were winning the thing through 3 days. They were winning the whole regional, beating UCLA, Florida State, Florida. I mean, I thought they were going to had a chance to win, and all you do is be top 4 to go to the NCAA tournament. And, man, we hadn't been that moment, quite yet. And that last day, I think we shot 18 or 20 over and came in 5th or 6th, so fell apart a little bit.
SJ, if they can have success, do you think that football, basketball, baseball can have success here at ULM under your tutelage?
Man, I hope so. Yes, I mean, I think our soccer team, softball team, and women's golf team won the league this past year. First time in school's history that we had 3 Sun Belt championships the same year. And they've each did it in different ways. I mean, soccer had a coach who really built it up with young players and got them through some international. Softball coach been here for 8-9 years, and she played at Alabama. She's really developed the community relationship. She gets great donors here, and she's built it with a lot of Louisiana girls, Texas. I mean, more regional, and then brought in players to help. And women's golf is very international. So there's different ways to do it. To me, we have to be creative, and I said that in our press conference. If we want to succeed here, like our only chance is to be the best margin winner. We have to win every margin, like, because we're not good enough to not. Our basketball team, for example, like, we're not going to be able to ever, well, I'll say that in the foreseeable future, ever to start a year and me say, hey, Coach Cross, here's $1 million, go buy a team. Let's retain these kids. Let's do what we need to do. That ain't us. So I got in some disagreements with our previous coach about it, but this year we're going to play like 7 or 8 money games. I'm going to use that money to fund the team. All of a sudden we're going to be pretty even in our conference where, my number one goal as the AD here is to make it our coach's fault if we don't win. And it has not been.
It's a lot of pressure on the coach.
It's not been I joke with Coach Vincent, our football coach, who's just an awesome guy. And I said in my first month of being here to a donor, I said, it's not been BV's fault. It really hasn't. Like, he's got some unlucky bounces for a couple of years. They're very, very close to going to a bowl. And I said, but man, he was the head coach, the offensive coordinator. He was raising all the money that we paid the whole team $300,000, which I would imagine is the lowest times 10 in the country. I said, so like, you don't have to have the most money. You don't have to have the biggest coaching staff, but we just got to give him a chance, get him in the ballpark. And I think that is a spot we can get to where if we're not winning, it's because we didn't hire the right person or a kid got hurt, whatever. And sadly, that's where I want to start off is, man, we hired a basketball coach a couple months ago, Coach Ryan Cross, as I said in his interview, he said, what's the standard? What do you want to win the first year? I said, my standard is I want to walk from my office to your arena on Tuesday night when we're playing whoever and know that we got a chance to win the game. Tuesday, whoever we're playing, I don't want to have to walk across the parking lot and go, man, we're about to get our ass kicked by this team. And I think we have a staff now that I don't see us not competing in any sport next year, which is a start.
Do you take that mindset when you're on the golf course that it might be a fun afternoon of golf, but I'm here to compete. I want to win?
I have such a switch as it's pickleball tonight. Will tell you, like, there's no in between. I can go have fun. Like, if we're playing pickleball, I'll drink the margaritas, whatever. We're playing golf, like, I can do this, hang out, no problem. But if we're playing, like, I have a very hard time not taking it, very seriously. And I know that about myself. I never played like noon ball. You mentioned Coach Saban noon ball. I wouldn't play noon ball, guys. Like, I played college basketball. And like, if I go over there, I'm gonna play. And like, I didn't want to be that guy on staff. And my chief of staff here, Charles Moore, will tell you they talk so much crap at UCF. Finally, I went and played with them, and I made sure we won. I made sure I think like 2 guys got hurt, and I made sure I hit the game-winning shot over Charles. And I told him about it for the next like 2 months. I let him know about it, and he'll still joke. They'll play basketball here some. He's like, no, SJ ain't playing this game. He's not friendly. So I think with golf, I'm a little bit the same way. I mean, if I'm playing golf, it means I don't have to be at work, so I'm naturally inclined to enjoy it. My number one goal is to walk golf courses because I think if I don't play good, then I still feel like, I got my steps in. But I love to compete, man, and there's nothing better. I'm with Free to get down to a 6. That was my lowest I ever got with Coach Free. I think I'm probably back to
because you played a lot.
Correct. I think I'm back to a 10 now, and I love competing with guys who are in my 7 to 11 range. And I only say that because if I go beat someone who's like a 2, it's because I got a whole bunch of strokes. And fine, I'll take the money, but I don't feel like I really, really beat them. I like to win.
SJ, how can the game of golf, as an athletic director now, help you here at ULM? Oh,
my gosh, man. One, it's really cool. I don't know if it's social media. I don't know if it's a younger generation of golfers who are more, accessible. But like we have a lot of our college kids who like to play. Which is awesome. I was just talking to one of our receivers. My man, get a crew together, take you to the country club. It's fun for me to take, kids who, ULM at Arkansas, they could afford probably members of the country club if they wanted to buy in. But here, like our kids, if they're playing golf, they're playing at the public course, whatever. It's fun to be able to take our kids kind of fun places and nice places to play with. One, and I've always liked to do that. But 2, it's great for. I mean, sadly, the truth is fundraising. I mean, the country club here in town is our biggest pool of donors, and we try to be there as much as we can. It's our golf team's home course, and I think there's definitely a community aspect in that regard. And 3, man, it's a release. You heard Simon, the guy we just hired today, walk in the office today saying, like, we're not going to play. Like, we haven't been out in a while. So it's good for our staff bonding. And it ain't for everyone to play. Everyone has their thing certainly, but for me, if you're out on the golf course with the right group, it's maybe the one place where I feel like if I'm not working, I'm still like, I don't feel like, oh crap, man, I wish I was at the office doing this. I can actually get away from it there, and focus on that.
How has your time in Monroe changed from first day till today?
Again, I'm a competitive person. I think, my first 2 weeks here, you just want to change everything in a day, and I'd stay till 2 a.m. So every day I'm like, can we fix the program today? And guys like Coach Malzahn, Chad, I've called a bunch of guys and got advice on it. And, I think I've reset goals for what can we do today that sets us up to be better in 6 months, 8 months, a year, 2 years, 4 years. And that's helped. So, I would drive myself crazy going like, we stink at men's golf. Why? How can I fix this today? And you can't fix that today. So I've definitely started driving myself a little bit less crazy in that regard. But, man, I think the biggest piece of Monroe was the community, and I was not in it, the first couple months because you're new. And to really like living here, you have to love the community, and it's a very easy community to love, but you got to be in it. So that's probably the biggest change for me is, now it's fun to walk into, Bite is Your Country Club or to so-and-so restaurant. You know that person, you see that person, and that's because it's a place that lends itself naturally to that, where everyone kind of knows everybody. And I got a single chief of staff who you met out there, Charles, and I joked with him when I hired him here. I'm like, you can date a girl here, go on a date, but like just know when you do, everyone else is going to know about it. So you pick a good one, treat her the right way, because I'm telling you, like when you take her out, Miss Jenny in the front desk will ask you tomorrow morning, how was your date with so-and-so? But that's a great part about this town, man. It's a cool place.
SJ, where do you see yourself? Where do you see ULM athletics 3 years, 5 years, 10 years down the road?
Yeah. Again, I think my goal for UM athletics is across the board when we start the fall. Our fans, our alumni, our administration here we got a chance to be good at these sports. This is going to be a fun year. We want to be a benefit to the university. We want to help enrollment. We want to, be better for campus life, provide fun environments. I got to get to a place where it's fiscally responsible. You see these massive deficits in college athletics, huge ones. It's fine if you're, Rutgers or whatever, and your $1 billion endowment can cover some of those things, and you're not worried about the university. That ain't the case here. So, to me, is we run. Everyone's going to run somewhat of a deficit typically. Just getting that to a manageable spot, and a lot of it's going to be increasing recurring revenue. We talked about our venue namings and sponsorships, and we didn't have a giving society when I got here, like a major giving society. Anyone that gave $5,000 or above didn't exist. Anyone that was doing $100 or whatever, like it was very minimal effort put into it. So those type things it ain't going to raise millions of dollars, but at least, we were starting the budget every year at zero. It was a true, like, okay, how are we going to raise the money? What do we need that we can ask people? And people would help. They'd call, hey, Trey, if we don't get this, man, we're screwed. We got it. And people would get the money, but like there was no, hey, these people all get $5,000 every year. We can budget off of this. We can plan this, and this sponsorship is coming in. So from a administrative side, that's the biggest piece, is getting our revenue to a point. And I really don't care about any team in the country. I care about how it is relative to our university. Okay, like, do we feel like we're in a comfortable spot where we can compete and manage what we have? And then we'll write other people once we get to that spot. But that's the goal. And I think from a team and coaching standpoint, you want to get kids. We got to do better local and keep kids that are around this area back and get them back when they transfer. And then pick off the right, kids from across the country and internationally that makes sense here. But, man, it's a cool community. So you want people that are from here too.
Is college athletics in a bad spot, or is it in a good spot?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I go back and forth, but it's in a good spot in Monroe. Like that's a sad thing to say. We got our problem. Everyone's got problems, and trust me, it takes money to fix all the problems. This is a place. It's cool to be at because you wake up and it still matters. It's still like a true college sport. And look, we're paying kids in football. I'm paying kids in basketball, and basketball got 14 transfers. But by and large, it's still that same feel here. And so I can't speak for other places. Like college baseball season this year was our best baseball season in 15 years probably. And we were competitive. Our conference is good, right? But, man, like going to those games, the baseball games, like it really felt like, man, this is college sport. This is awesome. So I love that, certainly. I'm not saying I want to, wouldn't want to be AD in 20 years at a place where that's not the case, depending on what the landscape transitions to. But for me, where I am in life currently, it's really fun to still be that. across the board, man, I don't know. I think it's got to get worse before it gets better, sadly. I think it's going to happen. The stuff like 5 for 5 is, I think, somewhat beneficial. The problem is not the NIL or rev share or the transfer portal. The problem is those two things together. And if you fix one, you kind of fix the other. And that's the thing I think people are so worried about fixing all at once. It's almost like fixing your athletic department. Like you can't do it all at once. What can the spring portal day I think helps. Having the one for football or basketball, those things are beneficial. If you can limit that a little bit or figure out the way to do it, then I think the rev share is going to somewhat even out over time. People are going to be bad. They're going to want to raise much money and be good. They're going to be good for a while, not be good. They'll lose less. The market will correct itself, but you got to get it a little bit more refined. It's nerve wracking, certainly.
Best golf course you've ever played?
Augusta National, pretty nice. Crap, that was a pretty good one.
Wow.
Played there in March. Played Augusta in March.
How was that?
There was a guy. I don't know. All the Augusta rules, I probably shouldn't shout him out, but a guy that I know from 30A. My sister and I have a little rental place. My parents lived there about half the year, and he's their neighbor. He's a member. And he said, "Man, I think I joked to my dad one summer, as, if he gets an AD job, you got to take him, him and like a donor to play type thing." I said, "Yeah, no problem." Well, he didn't know, like a year later it was going to happen. It was turning out a little quicker than he thought. So sure enough, he invites us out, and my dad calls me. He's like, "What's like a big donor at ULM?" And I should have said a bigger number than I did. Okay, I was like, so and so. Why? Cool. I sent you that. We're gonna play. Like it's gonna be.
Wow.
So he was my donor, but he and my dad are buddies, and he took us out. It couldn't have been a month before the Masters, so the scoreboards were up and stuff. And man, I got this job and working so much I hadn't played, so I broke in. I think I have access to our golf house one night, and I hit into the simulator for like 3 hours before the
you had to work on your game,
dude. I hadn't swung a club, and I went to my golf coach and I'm like, "Hey man, like I'm playing Augusta in 2 weeks," and he was like, "Oh no." I was like, "Yeah, no, it's bad, man. It's bad." I played pretty good. I shot we played 2 days back to back, and I shot 92-86.
There you go.
I had to putt all out. My dad's a purist of sorts, and the first day I swear I hit it better, but just the benefit of having played there once changes everything on that course. Just knowing where to miss and hit stuff. And I mean, everyone says you want to be below the hole. Be below the hole. And one of my golfers, we have a great little golfer here, is a kid from Memphis, a St. Jude former patient. So he played it at Dakota. And Dakota grabs me right before I left. He's like, "All right, you going to play tomorrow?" I was like, "Yeah, dude, I'm going to be below the hole. Below the hole." I'm like, "Okay, got it. Below the hole." And I'm thinking this in the course. And the first day I was below the hole so much, and I wouldn't hit up. The ball would come back to me. I couldn't get up the hills. And I know everyone's saying everyone's gonna say, "Man, you're gonna blast it by," which I get. But I was so nervous how fast the greens were. I'd put it halfway, it'd roll back down. The second day, I just kind of started going at stuff and listen to the caddies a little bit more.
That's hilarious. Fantasy foursome, SJ. Living or deceased, you and 3 others that you could play around to golf with, who would they be?
So I would have said Michael Jordan, because I started calling myself SJ as a young kid because he was MJ. Like I grew up loving Michael Jordan.
You called yourself SJ?
Yeah, so I named. Everyone's like, "Oh, Sean." As a young kid, I just started saying SJ because I loved the Bulls. Scottie Pippen, my mom decorated his house, and I grew up loving the Bulls. So I'm like, he's MJ, I'm SJ. And like when you're 14, that stopped being a school. So then thankfully it worked out as Sean Jr. So it was good, but. I saw him play at the Grove once when I lived in Orlando, and it scared me to death the way they played. So I eliminated MJ from the bunch. I want to play with Charles Barkley, with Shane Gillis, because I met him in Tulsa. That was the coolest guy ever. I thought it'd be fun to golf with. That base stinks, but he'd be awesome on a golf course. And then I want to play with Tiger. I want that to be the foursome because I think I can beat Shane surely. He may be like really good at golf. I don't know, but at least that gives me one.
You can beat Barkley too.
I think he's gotten okay though from what I've heard.
I think you could beat him.
I know it wouldn't be the worst, and I want to like the competitive side. I just want to see Tiger play. But I think Barkley would be the funniest, awesome guy. I think Shane would be funny, and I think I could at least beat one of them. So that would be my 4.
SJ, that's awesome, man. Congrats on the job down here. Best of luck.
Come play next time. No podcast next time. Play instead.
We'll bring the clubs.
I'm in.
Hello, this is Justin Acree. When joint pain or an injury slows you down, turn to UAMS Health Orthopedics and Sports Medicine. Arkansas's largest orthopedic team and the state's most fellowship-trained surgeons offer expert care for sports injuries and problems affecting the hip, knee, shoulder, spine, hand, foot, ankle, and more. Care is easy to access at the Orthopedic and Spine Hospital and the new location on Rodney Parham in Little Rock, next to UAMS Health Urology Center. For walking care, choose UAMS Ortho now. Call 501-686-TOSH. When you think ortho, think UAMS.
That's all the time for this edition of From the Shortgrass, presented by UAMS Health Orthopedics and Sports Medicine. Remember, when you find your ball mark on the green, fix it and a couple of more. And I hope to see you sometime soon from the Shortgrass.
You have been listening to From the Shortgrass, presented by UAMS Health, Orthopedics, and Sports Medicine, a weekly podcast dedicated to the game of golf. This has been a presentation of the Buzz Radio Network in association with Majestic Cubby Productions.